Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, madam. Please continue.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. In the last class, we were discussing about aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, and photo respiration. We have finished photo respiration and dark respiration. So we were stopped at anaerobic respiration. Almost we have finished that. Today we'll discuss more about aerobic respiration. So before that, we will discuss about respiratory quotient. So this is nothing but ratio of volume of carbon dioxide evolved to the volume of carbon dioxide absorbed by the organism. So actually oxygen is required in respiration, which is useful for the oxidation of components. So here different compounds are utilizing the different volume of oxygen to oxidize the compounds. And the same way in respiration, here carbon dioxide is evolved. So this is nothing but ratio of volume of carbon dioxide equal to volume of carbon dioxide absorbed by the volume of oxygen absorbed by the organism or tissue or cell in a given time. So when we discuss about respiratory quotient of some of the important organic compounds, major organic compounds, that is carbohydrates. So respiratory quotient of carbohydrate is 1, whereas fats it is 0.7, and for proteins it is approximately 0.8. Here this fat and proteins respiratory quotient is below 1. It is because of here when these fats and proteins are getting oxidized, the amount of oxygen utilized is always higher when compared to the amount of carbon dioxide released. Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, madam.
Here coming to this aerobic respiration, detailedly we'll discuss about aerobic respiration. See here, this is glucose molecule C6H12O6, and in the presence of oxygen, that is 6 molecules of oxygen, here it is releasing 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of H2O2, and the energy would be 686 kilocalories. That is in kilojoules to 2900. So here complete oxidation of one glucose molecule, that is C6H12O6, it yields around 38 ATP molecules along with carbon dioxide and water molecules. 6 carbon dioxide molecules and 6 water molecules. It releases 38 ATP molecules. When we talk about in terms of ATP molecules, per one glucose, 38 ATP molecules are released in aerobic respiration. So here, 2 ATP molecules from glycolysis, 2 molecules from Krebs cycle, and 34 ATP molecules from electron transport chain. We'll discuss in detail. So coming to the aerobic respiration, it has 3 steps. One is glycolysis, second one is Krebs cycle, and third one is electron transport chain. So here in between glycolysis and Krebs cycle, one intermediate step is there, that is the conversion of pyruvic acid to acetyl-CoA. So end product of glycolysis is pyruvic acid. 2 molecules of pyruvic acid are formed as end product of glycolysis, where these 2 molecules of pyruvic acid are converted to 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA. That is the intermediate step which is linking between EMP, Embden-Mayer pathway, Parnas pathway, and Krebs cycle, that is citric acid cycle. So EMP pathway is glycolysis, citric acid cycle is Krebs cycle. So in between these 2 cycles, pathways, one intermediate step is there, intermediate reaction is there, that is the conversion of pyruvic acid to acetyl-CoA. So here, first of all, we'll discuss about glycolysis. Glycolysis is also called as EMP pathway, as we have discussed. This is discovered by Gustav Embden Otto Meyerhoff and Jakob Carol Parnas. So based on the name of the scientist Emden Meyerhoff Parnas, it is described as EMP pathway, and it can be called as common respiratory pathway or cytoplasmic respiration, because this part of respiration takes place in cytoplasm, hence it is cytoplasmic respiration. So the starting compound in glycolysis is 6-carbon containing glucose molecule. This 6-carbon containing glucose molecule undergoes degradation and forms 2 molecules of 3-carbon containing pyruvic acid without utilizing oxygen. So here this step would be common to both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen, whereas anaerobic respiration doesn't require oxygen. But the glycolysis step is common to both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, where it doesn't require oxygen. And it also takes place in the site. The location of the cell is cytoplasm. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
So coming to this glycolysis, where the carbohydrate is getting catabolized or degraded, important simple carbohydrate here is glucose, as we have discussed. Most of the cell's energy is produced from the oxidation of carbohydrates. So here we are talking about one of the simple carbohydrate example, that is glucose, which is undergoing degradation in glycolysis. So this glycolysis is the most common pathway for the oxidation of glucose. Glucose is getting degraded in glycolysis pathway, where one molecule of glucose is getting oxidized to produce 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. This we have discussed. Glucose is 6-carbon containing compound. Pyruvic acid is 3-carbon containing compound. Hence, one glucose molecule, one 6-carbon containing glucose molecule is forming 2 molecules of 3-carbon containing compound, that is pyruvic acid. And coming to the net ATP and NADH molecules produced in this glycolysis is net. I am talking about net molecules. ATP molecules would be 2 and NADH molecules are also 2. So glycolysis consists of 2 stages: preparatory stage, energy conserving stage. Preparatory stage here, this is one molecule of glucose, that is 6-carbon containing glucose moiety, is getting degraded to 2 3-carbon containing moieties. That pathway comes under preparatory stage, where it requires 2 ATP molecules. See here, there's a 6-carbon containing molecule glucose, and here if you observe 3-carbon blue color moieties, 3-carbon containing moieties, 2 molecules are produced. So in between, it is requiring 2 ATP molecules. In the first reaction, it is requiring 1 ATP molecule. 1 ATP is getting hydrolyzed to ADP. That energy is utilized by this 6-carbon containing moiety. And second step doesn't require anything. Then the third step requires 1 more molecule of ATP. So here ATP is getting converted to ADP. So for this preparatory stage, where 6-carbon containing compound is getting hydrolyzed to 2 molecules of 3-carbon containing compound, it requires 2 ATP molecules. So it uses 2 ATP molecules. Whereas coming to the second stage in glycolysis, that is energy conserving stage. Whereas preparatory stage is utilizing the ATP, whereas energy conserving stage is producing the ATP. So here 3-carbon moieties are oxidized to 2 pyruvic acids. So here these 3-carbon containing moieties enter into energy conserving stage. If you observe here, in this first step, it is forming 1,3-diphosphoglyceric acid. I will explain you in the next slide clearly. You please concentrate here the formation of ATPs and NADH molecules and the utilization of ATP. So here this step requires ATP molecules, 2 ATP molecules, and here in this energy conserving stage, first step is forming NADH molecule. So here, as I have told you, here 2 molecules of 3 carbon containing compounds which are interconvertible. Hence here 2 ADPs, 2 3 carbon containing compounds, hence 2 ADP molecules are getting converted to 2 NADH molecules. And here the second step in energy conserving stage, here it is forming 2 molecules of ATP. Again, why 2 are mentioned means here 2 3 carbon containing compounds are formed which are interconvertible. Hence, each of these 3 carbon containing compound enter into energy conserving stage and can form pyruvate at the end. Hence, here 2 molecules are mentioned. Again, here also 2 molecules are mentioned. Here also 2, 2, 2, 2 like that. So here 2 molecules, again 2 molecules of ADP are getting converted to 2 molecules of ATP. Again, after 2 more reactions, 1 more 2 ADP molecules are forming as 2 ATP molecules. So completely, if we consider in glycolysis, 10 reactions are present. At the end, pyruvate is formed. Here, 2 3 carbon containing molecules, hence 2 molecules of pyruvic acids are formed in glycolysis. So coming to this energy conserving stage, 4 ATPs are produced. If you observe here 2 ATPs and here 2 ATPs at the end. And here the starting step in energy conserving stage, 2 NADH molecules are produced. So if you observe completely, 4 ATPs are produced, 2 NADH molecules are produced. Whereas here 2 ATPs are utilized. Hence 4 ATPs minus 2 ATPs. So the net would be 2 ATPs plus 2 NADH molecules. Is it clear? NADH molecules and ATP molecules. Number of ATP molecules produced and number of NADH molecules produced in glycolysis. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So this is Embden-Meyer pathway, Embden-Meyerhoff-Parnas pathway, that is glycolysis. Clearly, we are going to discuss here. This is glucose moiety. It is getting converted to glucose 6-phosphate in the presence of the hexokinase, as we have discussed here. See here, the first reaction is utilizing the ATP. So here ATP molecule is utilized. See here, the ATP molecule is utilized and ADP is formed. So the phosphate moiety is accepted by glucose molecule, hence glucose 6-phosphate is formed. With the help of phosphoglucose isomerase, this glucose 6-phosphate is getting converted to fructose 6-phosphate, and the another enzyme phosphofructose kinase (PFK), which is useful to convert fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, where one more phosphate moiety is accepted from ATP. So here also one more ATP is getting hydrolyzed to ADP. So fructose 6-phosphate is getting converted to fructose. And here this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, with the help of aldolase enzyme, it is getting degraded to 2 3 carbon containing molecule. And glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. These 3 carbon containing 2 molecules are interconvertible with the help of. Is it clear, Amma, my voice?
Clear, ma'am.
Is it clear? Okay. So here triose phosphate isomerase is the enzyme which is useful to interconvert these 2 3 carbon containing moieties. Again, this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, here we can carbon containing moieties. Nothing but this dihydroxyacetone phosphate can also form glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Hence, from here we need to remember that 2 molecules of 3 carbon containing compound. And here it forms 1,3-bisphosphate 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, where it forms 2 NADH molecules. So 2 NAD are getting reduced to 2 NADH. So till here it is preparatory phase. And from here this is energy conserving phase. And after formation of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate with the help of phosphoglycerate kinase, here it is forming 2 ADP of AD. So this 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is forming 3-phosphoglycerate. Then this is getting converted to 2-phosphoglycerate with the help of phosphoglycerate mutase. And this 2-phosphoglycerate with the help of pyruvate. Now this phosphoenol pyruvate with the help of pyruvate kinase, it is forming pyruvate. So here we need to remember that 2 molecules of pyruvates are formed from 1 molecule of carbon containing molecule. So 3 carbon containing pyruvates are formed. So this step 2 pyruvate conversion is catalyzed by pyruvate kinase, where 2 ADP molecules are getting 2 ATP molecules are utilized, and here 4 ATP molecules are formed. So 4 minus 2 becomes 2 ATP. Net ATP produced in glycolysis is NADH molecules, and 2 ATP molecules are net formed in glycolysis. As I have told you, glycolysis and Krebs cycle and electron transport chain, 3 are important stages, whereas in between EMP and the Krebs cycle, one intermediate step is there, that is catalyzed by pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. So this is large multi-enzyme present in mitochondrial matrix, where the pyruvate, which is end product formed in glycolysis, is getting decarboxylated to acetyl-CoA. Now this acetyl-CoA enters into the TCA cycle. So glucose to pyruvic acid or pyruvate is the glycolysis, whereas acetyl-CoA pyruvate. So pyruvate has to get converted into acetyl-CoA. For that, it must be decarboxylated with the help of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, which is multi-enzyme complex, and it is also catalyzed by large enzyme, the multi-enzyme complex, that is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. So if you observe here, this is mitochondria and this is cytosol. So in cytosol, glycolysis is taking place, where pyruvate is formed as end product in glycolysis. Now enters into the mitochondria with the help of transport protein, which is present in the membrane. Now this pyruvate, with the help of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, multi-enzyme complex, as I have told you, in of this PDH complex, pyruvate is getting converted to acetyl-CoA. So if you observe this pyruvate and acetyl-CoA, the difference would be this carbon dioxide. Hence it is removal of this carbon dioxide. Hence it is called as decarboxylation of pyruvate. So pyruvate undergoes decarboxylation. Then the 2 carbon moiety gets attached to the CoA molecule. So it forms acetyl-CoA. Whereas this carbon is released in the form of carbon dioxide. This reaction is catalyzed by PDH complex, which is present in the mitochondria. Hence, the pyruvate has to gain entry into the mitochondria to get converted to acetyl-CoA with the help of transport protein. It gains the entry, then it is catalyzed by PDH complex and forms acetyl-CoA. This acetyl-CoA now enters into the citric acid cycle. So here the reaction can be written as pyruvate plus CoA, because it is accepting CoA, where this reaction, in this reaction, one molecule of NADH is getting converted to NADH plus H plus. If you remember, 2 molecules of pyruvates are formed in glycolysis. Hence, here we need to remember that 2 molecules of pyruvate, 2 molecules of CoA, 2 molecules of NADH, whereas 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA are formed, and so here 2 molecules of CO2 are released and 2 molecules of NADH plus H plus are formed in this reaction. As I have told you, pyruvate dehydrogenase complex is a multi-enzyme complex. It consists of 3 main enzymes and 1 supportive protein. So coming to the 3 main enzymes, 3 main proteins, they are pyruvate dehydrogenase, can be mentioned as E1, enzyme 1. Here, around 20 to 30 copies of pyruvate dehydrogenase moieties are present, which is alpha to beta to heterotetramer. Tetramer, here it is 4 polypeptide chain containing protein. Hetero means 4 polypeptide chains are different. Altogether, they are different. So, 4 different polypeptide chains. 2 are alpha and 2 are beta. So, alpha to beta to heterotetramer containing pyruvate dehydrogenase moieties are present in PDH, that is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Coming to this E1, there are around 20 to 30 copies of E1 are present in PDH. As coming to this E2, 60 copies, around 60 copies of E2s are present. They are dihydrolipomide trans acetylase. Coming to this E3, dihydrolipomide dehydrogenase enzyme, that is 6 molecules of E3s are present, which are homodimers. Nothing but dimer means 2 polypeptide chains are present in its structure, E3 structure. Homo means 2 are similar in nature. Similar 2 polypeptide chains, hence it is mentioned as homodimer. Like that, 6 molecules of dihydrolipomide dehydrogenase moieties are present in this PDH complex. And coming to this, apart from this E1, E2, E3 molecules, one additional supporting protein is present, that is E2, E3 binding protein can be called as, which is useful to support the interactions between E2 and E3. There are around 60 copies of E2 and 6 E3 molecules, enzymes. So, to support the interaction between this E1, E2, E3 are to be interacted with each other in PDH to perform its function. So, to support the interaction between E2 and E3, one supporting protein would be present in this PDH, that is E2, E3 binding protein, which only supports the interaction between E2 and E3 subunits. And this pyruvate dehydrogenase complex not only requires and 1 supportive protein, but also it requires 5 different coenzymes to perform its function, that is decarboxylation. 5 different coenzymes are CoA, NAD+, FAD+, lipoic thiamine, pyrophosphate. So, 3 main enzymes, 1 additional enzyme, and 5 coenzymes are required for its function. That is pyruvate dehydrogenase complex to perform its function. It requires 3 plus 1 plus 5 coenzymes. And here regulation of this complex is done by inhibition, negative regulation as well as positive regulation. So negative regulation of PDH complex in the presence of NADH and acetyl-CoA. This enzyme gets inhibited. Whereas in the presence of NAD plus and coenzyme, the activity of this PDH is stimulated. Whereas coming to this regulation by energy form, when ATP is present in the cell, more amount of ATP, this PDH gets inhibited. Whereas when AMP is present, this PDH gets stimulated. This is about control of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Control means both negative control and positive control. Stage of main stage, second main stage of Krebs cycle. Is it clear? Am I audible, all of you? Here
Clear,
it is
ma'am.
showing internet connection is
Yes.
not proper. Am I audible, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So second stage is Krebs cycle, that it can also be called as organic acid cycle, mitochondrial respiration, and citric acid cycle. It can also be called as it is one and the same, that is Krebs cycle or TCA cycle. Sir Hans Krebs, name of the scientist, discovered the intermediate compounds which are formed in this cycle. So the first and is the condensation of acetyl-CoA with oxaloacetic acid, that is 4 carbon containing compound. Here acetyl-CoA consists of 2 carbons, whereas pyruvic acid to form acetyl-CoA, it has lost 1 carbon in the consists of only 2 carbons. So 2 carbon containing acetyl-CoA condenses with 4 carbon containing oxaloacetic acid and forms 4 plus 2, 6 carbons. Hence 6 carbon containing citrate is formed. Hence it is citric acid cycle. First stable product which is formed in the citric acid cycle. So this citric acid cycle is operated in matrix of mitochondria. If you observe this overall picture, glycolysis is taking place in cytoplasm as we have discussed. Pyruvate, which is end product, which is the end product in glycolysis, it has to get transported from the cytoplasm into the mitochondria. That also we have discussed. With the help of transport protein, pyruvate is gaining entry into the mitochondria. Then this acetyl-CoA, pyruvate after entry into the mitochondria, it forms acetyl-CoA. This acetyl-CoA production, it is taking place or it is occurring in mitochondria because pyruvate with the help of transport protein, it is gaining entry into the mitochondria. Then the pyruvate is getting converted to acetyl-CoA. Hence, what we are saying here is acetyl-CoA production is taking place in mitochondria. Then this acetyl-CoA enters into the citric acid cycle. If you observe, this is glycolysis where glucose is getting converted to pyruvate. This pyruvate with the help of intermediate reaction, that is PDH complex, pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, where carbon dioxide is released. So this pyruvate forms acetyl-CoA. Now into the citric acid cycle. So after this cycle, in this cycle, NADH, FADH molecules are formed. All these will enter into the electron transport chain. So first glycolysis step, then citric acid cycle. In between these two, PDH complex reaction, that is pyruvate decarboxylation, which is done by PDH complex to form acetyl-CoA. Now this acetyl-CoA enters into the second stage, that is acetyl-CoA oxidation, which is taking place in citric acid cycle. That we will discuss now. See here, acetyl-CoA, 2 carbon containing acetyl-CoA is getting condensed with oxaloacetic acid. That is 4 carbon containing compound to form 6 carbon containing compound, that is citrate. Here 4 plus 2, and 6 carbon containing molecule citrate is formed with the help of citrate synthase. Now this citrate with the help of aconitase, it forms this aconitate. This aconitate is very much temporary compound, hence it is mentioned in brackets. This aconitate forms isocitrate, which is stable compound with the help of aconitase itself. Now this isocitrate with the help of isocitrate dehydrogenase. Here you should remember is one molecule of carbon dioxide is released. This isocitrate is 6 carbon containing compound. When 1 carbon is released as carbon dioxide, 6 minus 1. Hence 5 carbon containing compound, that is alpha ketoglutarate is formed. And one more point you need to remember is here NAD is getting reduced to NADH molecule. So this 5-carbon containing compound, that is 5-alpha ketoglutarate, again it enters into one more reaction which is catalyzed by alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex. As the same here, one carbon dioxide is released and one molecule of NADH molecule is formed. So same way here, alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl-CoA, nothing but this is 4-carbon containing compound, whereas this alpha ketoglutarate is 5-carbon containing compound. Again, if you observe, one carbon is released as carbon dioxide, nothing but 5 minus 1, 4-carbon containing compound succinyl-CoA. And one more point we need to remember here is one more NADH molecule is formed. So isocitrate dehydrogenase enzyme is useful to form one moiety of NADH. Same thing, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex is also useful to form one more NADH molecule. These two reactions are almost similar because in this reaction also one carbon dioxide is released, one molecule of NADH is formed. So 6 minus 1, 5-carbon containing compound is formed. Again, this 5-carbon containing compound, that is alpha ketoglutarate, is getting converted to 4-carbon containing compound, that is succinyl-CoA. Because here 5 minus 1, that one carbon is released as carbon dioxide. Same like isocitrate dehydrogenase reaction. So alpha ketoglutarate, that is 5-carbon containing compound, is getting converted to 4-carbon containing compound because one carbon is lost as carbon dioxide. Here also one NADH molecule is formed. Then this 4-carbon containing molecule, that is succinyl-CoA, is getting converted to succinate. This reaction is catalyzed by succinyl-CoA synthetase. If you observe here, CoA is released and one GDP molecule is getting converted to GTP molecule. And this succinate, that is 4-carbon containing compound, forms fumarate. With the help of succinate dehydrogenase, here one molecule of FADH2 is formed. This 3 NADH molecules, one from here, another from here. 3 NADH molecule and one FADH2 molecule and one GTP molecule. These are very, very important to remember where they have formed. And here succinate dehydrogenase converts this succinate to fumarate. It is catalyzed by succinate dehydrogenase where one molecule of FADH2. FAD is getting converted to FADH. Now this fumarate, with the help of fumarase, it forms malate. Now this malate, with the help of malate dehydrogenase, again this is one of the important reaction where one molecule of NADH is formed. So malate is getting converted to oxaloacetate with the help of malate dehydrogenase. So in this Krebs cycle, for one molecule of acetyl-CoA, 3 molecules of NADH are formed, one molecule of GTP is formed, one molecule of FADH2 is formed. So here these reduced molecules will enter into ETC, electron transport chain. What we need to remember is where this NADH molecules are formed, where this FADH molecule, FADH2 molecule is formed, and how many molecules of NADH, how many molecules of FADH2, how many molecules of GTP are formed for one acetyl-CoA molecule when it is undergoing oxidation in Krebs cycle is important. Is it clear? Is it clear, all of you? Overall reaction we'll see here. Acetyl-CoA, one molecule of acetyl-CoA. Here, 2 molecules. When one molecule of acetyl-CoA is entering into Krebs cycle, 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. Nothing but here acetyl-CoA consists of 2 carbons. Those 2 carbons are released in the form of carbon dioxide. CoA, as you can see here, CoA is mentioned. It is released because 2 carbons are attached to CoA here. 2 carbons are released in the form of carbon dioxide. Hence, CoA is released as it is. So in this reaction, per 1 molecule of acetyl-CoA, 3 molecules of NAD plus are getting converted to 3 molecules of NADH plus 3H plus, whereas 1 molecule of FAD is getting converted to FADH2, whereas GDP plus PI is forming GDP, where this reaction, each Krebs cycle react involves utilization of 2 water molecules. So if you see the skeleton here, I have mentioned here carbons clearly. Citrate, here 6 carbons. Acetyl-CoA is 2 carbons. When it condenses with 4 carbon containing molecule, that is oxaloacetate. This is first reaction in Krebs cycle. Condensation of 4 carbon containing compound with 2 carbon containing compound to form citrate, which is very much stable reaction based upon this citrate only. It has got citric acid cycle. Then this 6 carbon containing compound forming again 6 carbon containing compound, that is isocitrate. And here C 6 carbon containing is getting converted to 5 carbon, because here 1 carbon is released as carbon dioxide. And again this 5 carbon containing compound is forming 4 carbon containing compound, because 1 carbon is released here as carbon dioxide. And again from here 4 carbon moieties only. Succinyl-CoA is forming succate, again fumarate, malate, oxaloacetate, again which can condense with 1 more molecule of acetyl-CoA. So here, if you observe only NADH moieties and FADH moieties and GDP moieties, you can see this skeleton. See, citrate is formed from acetyl-CoA and oxaloacetate. Now citrate can form isocitrate. This isocitrate, when it is forming alpha ketoglutarate, here not only 1 molecule of carbon dioxide is released, but also NADH molecule is formed from NAD. And this alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl-CoA, again 1 molecule, 1 carbon is released in the form of carbon dioxide. Not only this is taking place, 1 more molecule of NADH is formed. And succinyl-CoA to succinate, here 1 molecule of GDP is formed. And from succinate to fumarate, 1 FAD is getting reduced to FADH2. Whereas fumarate can form malate, malate to oxaloacetate. This reaction is also contributing 1 more molecule of NADH. So like this, each citric acid cycle, each acetyl-CoA, when it gets condenses with 1 molecule of oxaloacetate, 3 molecules of NAD is getting converted to NADH, and 1 molecule of FAD is getting converted to FADH2, and 1 molecule of GDP is getting converted to GDP. Regulation of citric acid cycle. 3 control sites are present in citric acid cycle regulation. That is first reaction, which is we have discussed already, that is condensation of acetyl-CoA to oxaloacetate so that citrate is formed. So the enzyme catalyzes this reaction is citrate synthase, which is inhibited by ATP. So this is one of the important regulatory step in citric acid cycle, which is catalyzed by citrate synthase, which is inhibited by ATP. And site 2 is reaction 3, not reaction 2. Site 2 is regulation of citric acid cycle, that is site 2. Coming to the reaction, that is reaction 3. So isocitrate is getting converted to alpha ketoglutarate. Reaction 3 of citric acid cycle is regulation site 2. So catalyzed by isocitrate dehydrogenase, which is inhibited by ATP, NADH, and stimulated by ADP and NAD+. And regulation site 3 is reaction